Apologies that I was a little late. Shirley had offered me a lift from the station. I said, get the 60 bus, and I thought, I'll get the bus. I won't inconvenience Shirley. And there wasn't any sign of any buses. So I had a brisk, hot walk up the hill, but I've made it here. So, and thank you so much for inviting me. It's lovely to see you all here. And not quite a beautiful venue to have a group meeting. It's absolutely fantastic. I understand Shirley was very persuasive in securing it from the crowd. So well done to Shirley. So as she said, I'm relatively new CEO of the Macular Society. I joined last July, so a little bit over a year now. And it's a real honour and a privilege to be leading such a wonderful organisation. I was just being asked sort of where I'd come from and what had led me to the Macular Society. And I'm someone who's been really fortunate to have been able to have a career in the charity sector. Ever since leaving school and university, I wanted to do something that felt worthwhile and was contributing to something that mattered. And I've been really lucky to be able to have a range of different roles in a number of different charities, mostly in the sort of health world. And probably most relevant to the Macular Society, I spent about 14 years at an organisation called the Macular Society. MS is a very, very different condition. It's one that affects the nerves. It can cause a range of different disabilities and symptoms. But although the condition is very different, the organisation is quite similar. So it has, in common with the Macular Society, a combination of local groups such as yourself, which I think is such a fantastic way to bring people together and build that real sense of community, alongside a national organisation that can do the things that national organisations can do, such as funding research and providing other services. And I think that combination is really powerful, and it's one of the things that really excited me about joining the Macular Society. So that's sort of a little bit of background as to who I am. In terms of the organisation, I think we're such a wonderful organisation. As I say, I particularly enjoy that combination of local and national, the work of our wonderful volunteers, but also our staff team really working in partnership under one shared aim, which is to beat macular disease. That's what we're all here for. I know that's what our volunteers are here for, that's what our members are here for, and that's also what our staff team are here for. And through the way we do that, I like to think of it as a three-legged stool, and those three things are our different aims. So one is about finding a cure, and the research programme that we lead into developing new treatments and hopefully one day curing or preventing macular disease. The other is providing the best advice and support so that people living with macular disease get access to things that they need in the here and now, and our local groups are a really important part of that. And the third is about making vision matter, so trying to elevate the importance of eye conditions, but obviously particular macular disease, in the minds of policymakers and government, so that services that are provided by the NHS better meet the needs of people, and the world is a better place for people living with macular disease. So they're the sort of three aims we have as an organisation. They've been core to our strategy for many years now, and they will remain so long into the future. So, you know, sometimes I get asked, are we going to focus on one thing more than the other? And I think it's really important we keep doing all of those three things, particularly that combination of research, which is about hope for the future, along with the advice and support, which is about help for today. I think it's vital that we keep doing all of those things. To talk a little bit about each of those in turn, our research programme, so we spend about £2 million a year on research as an organisation. And depending on your perspective, you might think that's an awful lot of money, or you might think that's not much money at all. And obviously, for an individual, that's an awful lot of money, and it's thanks to the generous gifts of our supporters that we're able to do so. In terms of an organisation and the research programme, it still makes us quite small. So, someone like Cancer Research UK will be spending hundreds of millions of pounds a year, and lots of charities will be spending, the tens of millions of pounds a year. So that makes us quite a small organisation, and what that means is we've got to be really, really smart in how we use it, so that we use it to the best effect to make the progress that we want to. And your previous speaker was talking about Professor Lotry. He's obviously one of the local researchers and clinicians, and we're really lucky that he chairs our research grants committee. So he chairs that group of scientists from across the UK and indeed internationally who come together and decide on the research projects we should fund and make those really difficult decisions. So we're really grateful to have a real leading clinician and researcher take that role. And what we want to see with our research programme, we want to see it grow, we want to see the scale of investment increase. So as an organisation, that means we need to grow so that we can do so. But as I say, we also want to make sure it's as impactful as it can possibly be. And one of the examples of that, if you imagine research as a sort of a journey from the very basic lab discoveries, finding something out about a chemical or a cell, through to perhaps testing things in animals, then clinical trials, and then a treatment becomes available. What we want to try and do is push our research programme so it's closer to that translational and clinical research, that's closer to the development of new treatments, which is what we all want to see. Now, one of the challenges is clinical trials are very expensive as an organisation. It takes a lot of money to support a clinical trial and have treatments being tested in people. So as an example of something we're exploring, it's called the Clinical Trials Accelerator. And it's not about us necessarily funding clinical trials, but it's making sure the UK is the best place to do clinical trials in macular disease, so that other organisations, whether that's government, whether that's the pharmaceutical industry, choose to do research in the UK and choose to do research in macular disease, so that hopefully we'll see the development of more treatments accelerate. So that's us sort of supporting the infrastructure and putting things in place to make it really easy to do clinical trials. And you were talking, for example, about the challenges of travel for people who might want to participate in trials. So if we can have more trial centres more locally to where people live, that's a way that we can ease that. So by supporting the development of clinical research happening all over the country, not just in a few centres. That's one of the examples of something we're really investing in and working with leading researchers to design what it would take to, as I say, make the UK the best place to do macular research or clinical trials in macular disease. Another example of something really exciting is called the virtual eye. And this is an idea that you can actually simulate what's happening inside a body in a computer. So you build a very, very complex mathematical model which runs on a computer, and you can test treatments in that computer rather than having to test them either in a lab or in the clinic. Ultimately, you would need to test them in the clinic, but you can refine all of your different strategies in the computer, which is a far more cost-effective and quicker way of moving forward with research. And that's an example of something that's really at the cutting edge of science. There's been lots of work done in heart disease, looking at a virtual heart, and they can actually simulate not just a heart, but an individual's heart, and think about what particular surgical or drug interventions might work for a particular person. And we're looking to take that learning from the heart, apply it to the eye, and use that as a tool to keep moving forward with research quicker and more cost effectively. So there's some examples of things we're trying to do. How can we make the best possible use of the resources that we have to make as much progress as possible in macular disease? Sorry, was that a question? No, sorry.
I was thinking.
And I'm happy to take any questions even now or at the end. Turning towards providing the best advice and support, I think we have a fantastic range of services as an organisation. I think our local groups are a really key part of that, and it's wonderful. It's one of the things I really enjoy about my role, visiting groups such as yourself and seeing that community come together. We also have a great range of national services, and I don't think they're half as well known as they ought to be. We have a fantastic helpline which is providing really high quality information. Any question you have on macular disease, you can ring our helpline and they will do their very best to answer, as well as emotional support for people who are struggling to adjust to sight loss. If people are really finding things difficult, they can refer to a telephone counselling service where we have a whole team of counsellors who have a real understanding of macular disease. So they're trained and qualified counsellors, but they also understand sight loss. Some live with sight loss themselves, others might have close family members or friends, and they can provide just a wonderful sort of 6-week counselling intervention on the phone to anyone, free of charge. Another example of a brilliant service I think is really changing the lives of people living with macular disease. We also have a range of services that sort of sit under our skills for seeing umbrella, and this is about sort of practical hints and tips for how people can make the best use of the vision that they have. So that might be through using techniques like eccentric vision, where you're using your peripheral vision instead of your central vision, but also the different aids and adaptations that people can use. So that sort of range from information, emotional support and practical support. As I say, all the way.
How do they get that? I mean, we have a group here which lots of them talk about their macular and their eye problems, and we have speakers come in. How do we, as a group, especially now I've lost my area manager, how do I get all of that? Because I have to rely on, I haven't got macular, okay? Yeah. So how do I get all the information you're talking about to this? I've had to raise 2 lots of £800 in grants to get people within to get here, because they can't get here on their own. Yeah. So how do we get support?
So the helpline is the sort of best point of access for those services. So if anyone is interested in potentially counselling or skills for seeing, if you ring our helpline, they can refer you into those services. I think we do need better materials to promote them and help people to understand exactly what's available, but those things I've described are all available on the phone to anyone in the UK.
Okay. That's quite good, and thank you for that. But I'm a volunteer and I work.
Yeah.
So trying to collate all that information to get to the group is going to be a lot on my shoulders.
So I agree, and I think we need. What I would say about those national services, and I was going to talk about our sort of ambition, is they've grown up over time in sort of different ways. They've changed, they've developed, bits have been added on. I think we need to go through a process of really clearly describing to the community exactly what's on offer and how to access it. So you can absolutely go to the helpline, but what I do think we need is some written materials which explain, as I said, these are the things that are available, this is what it would look like to experience that service, and this is how to access it. So I do think we've got a little way to go. And also what I'd like us to do is increase the capacity of those services, because clearly, they all rely on people at the end of the day. The helpline and counselling services, they're paid people behind them. The skills for seeing, there's some paid staff, but also volunteers, so we need to make sure we've got the resource available to meet demand.
But groups are closing. I mean, we haven't got any other groups around here. Midhurst is gone, Bognar's gone, so that's why all of them are coming here, because the other smaller groups, there's no volunteers to pick that up.
And volunteer recruitment is a huge challenge for all charities across the board. Yeah. It is extremely difficult. One of the things we're looking at is a role to help with volunteer recruitment. But at the moment, we don't have a specialist role to do that. And the experience of other organisations, if you have someone dedicated to that, it can absolutely help. And we also want to try and make that experience as simple as possible. But it is a huge challenge, and it's not just a challenge that's affecting the Macular Society, it's a challenge that affects any organisation that relies on volunteers. Unfortunately, there does seem to be a trend that people are less likely to volunteer for this sort of ongoing formal commitment. What people quite like doing is helping out once or twice. But week in, week out is a big commitment, and it is becoming more and more challenging to recruit people to those roles.
Because I advertised for 3 months, 2 months for a volunteer. I had to get a friend of mine to come in to help me, but no one picked it up at all.
Yeah.
So recruiting volunteers is going to be hard.
It is hard, and there are sort of range of different ways of doing it, but it's not an easy process. But just to go back to the national services, so another example of something which also relies on volunteers, but is a different type of role, is befriending. So this is where we pair an individual who's perhaps feeling lonely and isolated with someone else who will regularly talk to them over the phone, just to be a kind of friendly.
Oh, they the
listener.
winter warmers?
So Winter Warmers, I think, was a service that ran sort of from COVID for a few years afterwards. I think that was groups. It doesn't run anymore. So this is an individual, and we are looking at making some changes to that service at the moment. It's almost open-ended, and that does make it a bit harder to recruit volunteers. So we're making it more time limited, which we think will be easier and kind of increase that capacity so we can meet more people's needs. So I think we've got we've got a really fantastic range of services already as an organisation, but I would like to see us do more, to have a bigger range of services and to be better able to meet the needs of people who have macular disease. One of the things, the stats that it sort of motivates me, it also scares me a bit. There's, depending on exactly who you count, over 1 million people with macular disease in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. We reach about 5,000 for our local groups, about 13,000 through our helpline, smaller numbers for those other services. If you added up everything we do over the course of the year, we might reach about 100,000 people, and that's, you know, really including everything. So we've got a huge mountain to climb to make sure we're there supporting everyone with macular disease.
So that's just 1/10 of the market.
Yeah.
Oh, not good enough. Do you know, Mr. Holloway, I used to run the Arundel support group, and I can echo what Shirley has been saying. In a way, when I just had 14 members full, and just usually about 10 came once a month, and we had a room at the back of one of the pubs. And sometimes we had a speaker, sometimes we didn't. And I remember we had one day when we didn't have a speaker, and people said, oh, that was the best we've had, because we were each talking about our own experiences, and we were learning from each other, because we were all at different stages on the journey. But there were little tips like how to get the toothpaste on your toothbrush, you know, as practical as that.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I know, group dynamics is so key, and I think this group is far too big to be able to get to know a trusted group of people who you can really follow on month after month or not, and develop the confidence in confidentiality and really feed each other. I mean, I can't see people here, so I don't know whether group-wise, Shirley, whether there's another way of helping people to help each other. Are we wasting good potential in that way? Because everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a gentleman who can play croquet and get a hoop.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
he says, point me towards the hoop. And he'll hit with the mallet, and within a reasonable range you can get the hoop.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
And I think that sort of being able to share experiences is so important. I think we need to give people a range of different opportunities to do that. And yeah, I think groups like this are absolutely fantastic. I can appreciate it. It might feel quite big and harder to do that. So really interested in other thoughts and suggestions as to how we can give people sort of space to do that.
We really come here for information,
Yeah.
and then you can go out to a smaller group that you know perhaps and explain to them.
Yeah.
But I think, a group is not too big.
No.
It's just that we can get information from them.
Yeah.
Well, the information, information in side view, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the trouble is, the magazine is too difficult to read. I don't know how many of us can actually read the
Exactly.
magazine. Hands up those who can read it.
But
Somebody beside you.
3,
you
4.
could tell us what was in the magazine. if you can't see, we could come to a group like this and that information could be spread, could it not?
It isn't, is it?
That's a good idea.
And there is an audio version as well that we can make available.
I was going to follow up on that. If there's any help, there's not that much help with people using IT.
Yeah.
Louder.
There's not much help for people to use IT. Because, for example, not everybody would know how to listen to side view on a computer or a tablet.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's some area for development there. Again, it's volunteers.
It is. So absolutely.
Because everything is going that way,
Yeah.
and as younger people come up, they're going to be more familiar with computers, perhaps. I'm
They're
making a
difficult to
generalisation.
see if you haven't got sight.
Yes, but there's all sorts of tools where you can listen to things.
So why not just come to a group? and
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, but you might want to listen at home.
Than a metal object.
There is Ability Net.
Yeah,
Does provide help.
it does.
I wonder how much, whether you liaise with them or.
Not as much as we should. There is a service we have, but I didn't mention it because it needs a bit of sort of thought and development, a bit of tender loving care in a way. So it's called Connect by Tech, and it was set up to do what you've described.
Yes.
And it's volunteers who support people using technology, and not to replace groups, but as an additional option for people. And obviously, if people want some very specific information, they might need to be able to access things individually. I think over time, the number of volunteers has got quite small, and I think we need to do some thinking about what that service looks like, and hopefully recruit new people to do that sort of role. Interesting, it's one of the roles you can recruit volunteers for. There are certain people who really, really enjoy helping other people to use technology.
Yes, yes. Well, I've been using computers for years, so I'm fairly familiar with computers. Your website isn't always the easiest to use.
Yeah.
I wonder if you have anybody looking at your website to sort of assess how useful it is and how easy it is to use.
We do, and actually, I think later this month we're planning to change change the navigation on the homepage of our website to make it.
Navigation,
yeah.
That isn't always that easy.
So we're changing the structure so it doesn't have the sort of left-hand navigation.
Exactly. That's the bit that's kind of difficult to use.
And you're not
So that should be fixed within the next month or so.
Okay.
And do you know the Calibre website, which is of course. Sorry, who's speaking?
You are.
The Calibre, who I think the website's been designed by people who forget who the customers are. They are people with poor sight. Yet they brought out a survey with just tiny type, useless. And I find the Calibre. Does anybody use that Calibre website?
No.
It's the audiobooks, which are my lifeline. Who likes audiobooks? Hands up. Gosh,
Yes.
only a fraction.
Good
Well,
excuse.
that sort of information would be useful to pass on to people.
Yeah.
How to access audiobooks. Because I think not everybody knows how to access audiobooks.
Right. Well,
But not everybody's got time to listen to.
we have
Well, I haven't as we get to our age.
those. If you're over 90, you have a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And those books are a lifeline.
Absolutely fine. And that was a sort of overview I wanted to give, but happy to answer any questions people have.
Any other questions?
Wow.
I very, quite a long time ago, used to have leaflets that Macular sent me that I could take round to libraries and opticians, and they were just flyers. And all the opticians were pleased to receive them. They just gave somebody an outline of the Macular Society and told them that, you know, made people aware of the, if people went to the optician and was told that they had macula. This is a leaflet, this is what the Macular Society is about. I don't receive, you don't do that anymore.
Well, certainly 10 years ago at Arundel, we had about 20 leaflets with different headlines about every aspect.
So we have a huge range of publications. I don't know if we do that specific one you're describing, but we have lots and lots of publications covering every aspect of living with macular disease. I don't know if you've rung our helpline and just asked what they have available, and if there's something suitable
No.
they can
They
send.
used to send me, they knew that I was
Okay.
volunteer, that I didn't mind going around to various opticians. I went in every optician in Chichester and used to give them just a little a small supply every now and again.
That was good.
So that stopped.
Okay.
Also, we used to get a little booklet, that size,
Right.
about just the basis of what macula was about, that we could perhaps give to our family when we were first diagnosed. That we don't have that anymore. So I think that the Macular Society ought to make itself a bit more known across the country. I did see that there was a half-page advert about Macular Society in my newspaper a few weeks ago, but there's very little about the Macular Society, and as you say, you know, it's the biggest cause of blindness
Yeah.
in the UK.
Yeah.
But you don't make yourself really known.
The speaker that came down a couple of months ago, all right, she was saying that she is doing some clinical trials, but also she is teaching the opticians about macula.
Yeah.
Some of the you go into some of the opticians, they have no idea what it is, and they're all to do with eyes. And you think, well, how is that? Because as soon as they're diagnosed with this, it's, well, I can't do any more, go away. And we've had 3 people who've
Yeah.
come here and their opticians can't help them or won't help them. So I don't know how we change that.
There's no, I was up in the eye department, I went with my partner the other day for something completely different from macula. But there was no information there about macular disease. There was no leaflets that anyone could take.
Yes, true.
It should be, you should put yourselves out far more. All right, it's going to cost money, but it's a great help to people to know that there is somebody out there who's going to help. Because as Shelley has just said, you go to optician and they say you've got macula, end of. That's it. But if someone
Go away and go blind.
if someone knows
Yeah.
that there's someone out there that can help them with this dreadful.
Yes, it seems pretty useless, doesn't it?
It you know, it's comforting.
For example,
I
But you
completely.
don't make yourself known as much as what you should do.
Okay. Well, we certainly, you know, we do our best, and as I say, we do have a range of publications. So if in the past you've been willing to go around opticians and give them to them, I'm sure that would be fantastic if you'd like to continue doing that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, so if you give our helpline a ring and say you'd like to have some leaflets that you can take to opticians, they'll happily send you some.
would it not be right for every eye clinic and every hospital to be mandated to have these information from the Macular Society?
Yeah.
For example, when I go up for my monthly injections, horrible, I sit waiting and I talk to people and I say, do you know about this macular support group that we've got here in Chichester? Do you know about Sideview? Do you know about this and that and the other? Oh no, never heard of it. No, what's it about?
So I agree it would be great for every eye clinic to be mandated to do so, but unfortunately that's a government policy question.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Well,
It's people.
to mandate eye clinics is
Well,
absolutely...
I
It's
mean,
laziness.
it takes a millionaire, and we've got dozens, millions of millionaires in this place, to decide to do that as a contribution to the community, to make that his job, to spread the information to what the Macular Society could do. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes.
We should write to our MP about
someone,
Sorry, just a couple of things. Southampton Unit has Macular Society leaflets everywhere and posters.
Wonderful.
I can't hear.
Southampton Unit have Macular Society leaflets, posters everywhere,
Well, that's Southampton, this is not
Yeah.
Southampton.
which is a shame. But we with the Wessex group, and we fund a prize for clinicians once a year, gift aside prize, and they give presentations. I'll quite happily mention it there. But they come in from Portsmouth as far down as probably Bournemouth.
Well, it should be universal, I mean.
Yes, it should, but you can't. It's different trusts, I think, that
Yeah.
probably cause the problems. They're not all run by the same trust.
It is.
And also, because we've got a big research centre, Andrew obviously is very into
Yeah.
the eye unit, so that's probably why we've got him there, because we do vision research there. But interesting.
Sometimes people need to give feedback to the eye clinic that they're
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah,
There's something
absolutely.
called patient pull.
Yeah.
And it's a postcode lottery as to what information that you get, unfortunately. And as you say, it's different trusts provide different information.
Yeah, so please do provide feedback to those clinics if
I
they're
think
not
that's the
getting
thing, to
information.
provide feedback.
so could we then take some stuff to our local eye clinic we've got here to St Richard's? Or is
Yeah, I
that
mean, I don't
something-
have anything on me, but we can get them sent, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and perhaps,
There has been some very useful information inside you about the National Ophthalmology Database and which trusts took part in it and which didn't.
Yeah.
And actually, unfortunately, the trust here didn't take part in that
Groups and that's
database.
I think it was
Yeah.
full up, wasn't it?
why was that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think
But
because
there's not
it's
a branch
so
to.
overworked here.
Yes, I think so. I think that's it.
buried in the others.
So busy.
All right, okay.
You know, it's nice to talk to people.
Well, thank you very much. Don't know if there's any other questions, otherwise we can go on discussing this. But I do feel that for us, we do need to get it well known. And it's all very well us coming here and everyone talking, but it's when they go out.
Yep.
And, all right, I'll try the helpline, all right, and
Yeah.
see what I can get. It's just, yeah, it's time-wise for me, I think. So, yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
A rumour filtered down to us that you were closing or suggesting closing all of the groups like this.
No.
That's not true.
No.
Brilliant. Thank
I've
you.
no idea who
Okay.
started that room, it's not.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, because we do need Shirley.
Can I just say that Shirley is absolutely fantastic.
It's wonderful to hear.
How long have you been doing it, Shirley?
7 years.
Oh, now that's... Rudolf Steiner said we go in 7-year blocks.
Well, I've been
So-
trying to leave for the last year and it hasn't worked.
Well, you must leave and somebody else must spring up.
Johnny, you
But John only wants small groups, you see.
Okay.
I was just going to say, can I leave you with a positive about the Macular Society? I attended your national conference
Oh, good.
webinar online and I found it very useful.
Good.
It was a mixture of practical tips and research, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Good. No, I think it's a wonderful event.
Yes, yes.
Well, your magazine is very good.
Yeah.
The one we get regularly from you
Yeah, side view.
is excellent.
I registered for the conference to see it on my iPad, but when the day came I had no link
Oh.
arrive.
Well, I
You
think
can
it's,
watch it afterwards.
It's on the website.
yeah, it's on the
Yeah, you
website.
can watch all the talks
Yeah.
afterwards.
Again, is that something that people need help with? To access this sort of stuff?
Yeah, how will I access that?
Exactly,
It's
that's
very
what people need
easy.
help with.
If you go into the Macular Society website, into the conference, and you can watch it
Yes,
anytime,
right.
which is what I did. And it's useful because you don't have to watch it all in one go. You can listen to half an hour,
Thanks.
an hour, and it's
Right.
brilliant.
Bless you.
that sort of information the society should give out, shouldn't it?
Well, that's the sort of information we could exchange
Yeah.
in this group.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the group. Yeah, that's
Surely
true.
that's in the magazine, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you can read
Yes,
it.
but we can't read it, can we? We're blind.
Partially sighted, please. Not blind.
Blind gets through to people partially sighted.
I
doesn't.
always bring one and I put it on the table every week, every month. So if anyone doesn't have it, you can always take it.
Can't see it.
Well, you can't from over there, but it's a magazine. And it's signed for you. Okay. Well, thank you very much
Thank you very much.
indeed.
Good discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.